Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Thanks for coming. We're here today to announce our findings in our review and investigation of the October 18, 2020 crash involving Mr. Jhamal Gonsalves and members of the Providence Police Department, principally Officer Kyle Endres. First, let me say that this office has a continuing concern for the health and welfare of Mr. Gonsalves. I know that he is in a very difficult healthcare situation at the moment, and on behalf of this office and the people of the state, I want to wish him a full and complete recovery. As a father of two sons, it is not lost on me how difficult this must be for his family, his mother, father, and his fiancée. I've met with the family several times, including this morning. My door has been open to the family and counsel since this incident occurred. Met with counsel several times, met with the family several times. We met with them again this morning. And what I'm about to share with you, I shared with them. This is a difficult situation because of the magnitude of the injuries sustained here. But let me say this. I wish it were otherwise. But in this office, throughout the year, we unfortunately have to address situations where something really bad happened at the hands of a motorist. The reality is that in most of those cases, there are no criminal charges. Sometimes in those cases, there is negligence. But most often in those cases, there is not what we need to find to establish criminal recklessness. And I will spend some time on that with you this afternoon. This matter was investigated pursuant to the protocol that I issued in June of this year. The purpose of that protocol is to bring independence to the extent we can do it, and I believe that we can, to a review of police conduct and potentially misconduct. That team, in any case, consists of this office, the department that employs the officer involved in an incident with a civilian, and the Rhode Island State Police. On the other hand, if it's a Rhode Island State Trooper that's involved, then it is a member of the police department where the incident occurs. The approach is the same in every one of those cases. The way it worked was this, effectively, that Providence Police and the Rhode Island State Police were responsible for gathering the evidence. What that meant was getting all the witness statements, interviewing witnesses sometimes more than once. It was getting all of the video. It was working with my team, my civil rights team, to go over the facts necessary for us to reach a conclusion. Our civil rights team guided the investigation. We followed up with witnesses, and we asked members of the team to follow up with witnesses. A critical part of our analysis was the Rhode Island State Police Collision Reconstruction Unit. Their report, which is either 100 pages or a little bit over, will be released today. I want to thank the Providence Police and the State Police, and in particular, Lieutenant LaRue and his team for the State Police Collision Reconstruction Unit's report. It is comprehensive, and it tells us what happened in this case, and really informed our analysis of what this case means relative to the applicable law. Our own report will be released today. Our report reaches nearly 50 pages. All of the materials that inform that report will be released today as well. There are packages for you here in the back of the room. All of the materials will be posted on the office's website for the public to see as well. It's really important to me that we are transparent in this case. I will explain my findings, but I want to make sure that anyone who wants to review those findings, wants to analyze them, whether you be a member of the public, whether you be a member of the press, whether you be an attorney or a law professor, I want that information to be out there for you to see it. That transparency is important. And before I move into the substance, let me just say this, that the report you are seeing today is the kind of report we could issue in other cases if we had a grand jury report statute on the books in the state of Rhode Island. There are two critical questions that we needed to answer in this case. The first question was, how did Mr. Gonsalves sustain his injuries? Did Officer Endres strike Mr. Gonsalves with his cruiser or not? Many of you will remember that in the immediate moments after the incident, that question was unanswered. Some believed that Officer Endres struck Mr. Gonsalves on his scooter with his cruiser, others did not. We will be able to answer that question today. The second question, though equally important, is irrespective of how Mr. Gonsalves sustained his injuries, did Officer Endres or any other police officer commit a crime? The principal role of the state police through the Collision Reconstruction Unit was to answer that first question. And Colonel Manny is going to do that now. Before he does, though, I want to make sure that we have the legal concept in place. For us to bring a charge of reckless driving or driving to endanger serious bodily injury, in this case, we need to show criminal recklessness. That is our standard. The Supreme Court, time after time, and I'll go through the cases with you, time after time has explained that negligent driving is not enough. And it's through that lens, that legal standard, that we analyzed the officer's conduct in this case. So at this point, I'm going to step aside. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Colonel Manny, and he's going to walk us through what the State Police Collision Reconstruction Unit found as they analyzed exactly how this crash occurred. Colonel Manny?